What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Tide Talk. It's Thursday, September 26th, and we're back in the away end talking RIFC's upcoming away match versus San Antonio. So cozy up, grab a bear. Let's dive into this one. Just a reminder, each episode is available on YouTube, and if you're watching now, please take a second to subscribe to our channel. Click that like button on this video. You can also find us on your favorite podcast applications like Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And if you listen on one of those, we'd really appreciate it if you took a minute to leave us a 5-star rating and a short review, as it helps more people find the podcast. If you're not already using the RIFC Club Collector app, click the link in this episode description. Get on that site and go enter the code TIDETALK, all one word, to get a free pack added to your collection today. I'm your host, Matt, and I'm joined by my good friend Ryan, whose life is in boxes as he's moving right now. So it's not
you didn't think my little distraction here of hiding boxes with a jersey? Yeah, it didn't work.
How's it going, Ryan? How's everything going with all that?
It's good, yeah. Excited to get the move in tomorrow, and then excited to see RFC and everybody hopefully at Providence Brewing on Saturday.
Yeah, so Ryan brings it up. We are back at Providence Brewing Saturday night, and we've also got a special treat for you Tide Talk junkies. There's going to be a very different can that you can purchase at Providence Brewing with a familiar logo that you might see on the label. So to get in on the ground floor of the Tide Talk nostalgia, come in for our first collab beer release with Providence Brewing. It's going to be a great time. We've got our good friend Royce the Voice from the San Antonio Soccer Podcast. Royce, thanks for taking a few minutes to join us tonight and preview this match.
How's it going, boys? Appreciate y'all having me on. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, pretty good, man. How's your day, Ben? How's everything going on?
Yeah, long day, life of a dad, getting through it, man, and just working till Saturday and see what happens on Saturday.
I hear that. I recently started with both boys playing soccer on Saturdays, so we live at the park. It's absolutely wild. It's a long day. Thank you to everyone who's in the chat. Just a reminder, you can interact with us in real time, ask questions, and we will get it going. So before we kind of dive into the match and talk a little bit, sorry there, Ryan, talk a little bit about previewing this one. Royce, tell us about your podcast. Tell our listeners where we can find you, how long you guys have been doing it, and kind of what the layout is.
So yeah, our overarching podcast is the SA Soccer Roundtable, and that's been around for 10 years, well before I joined the boys. We've kind of had some lineup changes. My little segment that I have brought to the group is the San Antonio FC Fancast, and it's just kind of a podcast by fans for fans of San Antonio FC. The SA Soccer Roundtable, we cover college soccer in Texas. A big show, our biggest show, is our high school roundtable, where we do a full high school report of all the soccer going on in the state, boys and girls, and following it. We have hosts that are high school soccer coaches. We have hosts that are college soccer coaches. So it's just kind of all things, anything soccer in Texas.
That's really cool.
Except for MLS, that doesn't matter. That's single entity. That's not even really owned by anybody in Texas, so nobody cares.
I had a really good tweet bang out today where a certain trophy that was won last night was tweeted out by a commissioner of a league, and I commented, "I hope you have a terrible day, Don." And it took off, and it's got a lot of likes from soccer fans all over the country. So I appreciate that sentiment, Royce.
Absolutely. Now, being in the Northeast, I would have definitely let them know which Don you were talking about. You can kind of get yourself in some trouble there. So just a heads up on that. Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah, exactly.
I also live in North Providence, which is also very known as the connected town. So I get there as well. But that's really cool. It's really cool work. I love the collaboration level. I don't think we've seen that, with kind of everyone covering the scope of soccer in your area. So that's really cool that you guys are promoting that and growing that at the grassroots level.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Yeah. So as we start to learn more about San Antonio, Royce, and we're super excited to hear from you, especially about the West Coast teams are really fun for us. We haven't really seen them all so far, especially our first go around in the league. So far, looking at San Antonio's season, you're currently 10th place in the West on 31 points, but you are just 1 point out of a playoff spot. Sorry about us not beating Orange County on your behalf.
About to say, I think it's 4 points because Orange County beat Phoenix last night. So
they did. Sorry, I did
think
not.
Yeah, so we're 4 points. Which I mean,
what happens when
let me twist the knife even deeper in my season, right? Huh? Let me call us out anyway.
I
Sorry,
was
I
gonna
interrupted.
say again. I did my prep maybe a little too early, but yeah, form has been coming around with 2 wins and a draw in your last 5. So yeah, how has the season gone for San Antonio, and how are you feeling about it?
Is super disappointing. Man, let me take you down the slide. First of all, let me welcome you guys and everybody in the Rhode Island fan base. Welcome to USL. It's fun. It's heartbreaking. You're gonna love it.
Would you say it's heartbreaking because of the officiating? Do you have a gripe with the officiating?
I will 100% be completely honest with you. My child and I, my 7-year-old and I, have a pact to not yell at the refs anymore because we do it so much.
So
and
you sound
yeah.
like my son Zach and I.
Bad.
So like anyone who is in the RFC community, the Defiance, like our whole Tide Talk group knows my son Zach. He's a 6-year-old that stands at the rail and screams obscenities at the ref. So I get that. I totally get that. I'm trying to. We call him the hooligan. He totally is like wild.
I got my own hooligan that I'm raising, much to my wife's chagrin. But no, but it's the same. But what I mean by disappointing is, man, it's really not. It's a great product. It's kind of the underdog product to really root for. I'm happy y'all are in the league. Y'all are expanding it. I love the expansion going northeast. I love that instead of just the generic, oh, we need to come in the middle. No, everybody needs to spread, and this league really does need a spread to be successful, to get in better markets. So as far as San Antonio FC, just to take y'all down a journey, we started in 2016. So I was a season ticket holder with the San Antonio Scorpions, which was NASL before San Antonio FC existed. They started in 2012. Our current head coach for San Antonio FC was the head coach of the San Antonio Scorpions in 2014, and we won the league. So that was a big night. I was there. That was a great time. Night I won't forget. November 15th, 2014, actually. Remember the day. And then the next year was the last year of the Scorpions. MLS picked off the 2 or 3 biggest teams from NASL. They ceased to be a league. Well, pretty much ceased to be a league. USL comes around, sees the market of San Antonio open. We get a team. We're kind of promised it's in that 2017 expansion. Hey, you get a USL team, you're probably going to get an MLS team. So everybody's hyped. Everyone's excited. Mm-hmm. City buys the Scorpion Stadium was developed by a man named Gordon Hartman. Gordon Hartman is a real estate mogul, basically land developer guy, and his daughter is special needs. She has a lot of learning disabilities. So with his millions that he's made, he's built an all-inclusive amusement park for people of all abilities. So it's the only water park in the world that's all abilities here in San Antonio, and they have a bunch of facilities. And when he sold the stadium to the city, he used the money he made, obviously to pay off the stadium, but also he expanded Morgan's Wonderland. So now, right outside, if you look on Google Earth, right outside of Toyota Field, there's multiple all abilities tennis courts, baseball fields, sports fields of all kinds around there. There's a bunch of treatment facilities. It's a great area for everybody. There's just no restaurants, but that's where we have the tailgates. But everything around Toyota Field is basically for people of all needs. So it's a really cool area in San Antonio. Not everybody has that. Nobody has an all-inclusive water park. So it's really cool. Fast forwarding, San Antonio FC does not get MLS team. We stay in USL. Starts in 2016. Going through it, we come up to 2022 when the dream happens. We win the championship. An amazing year, an amazing group of people, and it was incredible. 2023 doesn't quite work out, and now we're in 2024. We lost basically the entire core of the team to retirement or transfer or just outright wanting to get out the team for whatever reason. Don't know what that's all about. We have a new GM. Our new GM, or you call tactical manager, is Marco Ferruzzi, who was the basically the GM for FC Dallas before he came down here. He's a San Antonio native. So he's just now getting used to USL. And they announced before the season started, they basically, like I said, we got rid of most of the core. Most of the core left. We have a few guys. One of the guys that is a stalwart is Mitchell Tainer, our center back. That's our captain. Big salute to Mitchell Tainer. He is now the most capped player in San Antonio FC history at, I believe, 123, I think is the number. So big salute to Mitchell Tainer. He accomplished that, I believe, in the Phoenix game. So, which was our past game. So hopefully in this match, that'll be celebrated. But trying to go through it, trying to wrap it up real quick.
You're good.
We got basically a new core, a whole bunch of new players. We have players from the Chinese Super League. We have players from the Persian Gulf League. We have players from all over the place. And before the season started, we got word that we were going to try to play in a more possession style. We're going to try to be on the forefront, which before this, the Alan Marcina experience, the era, started in 2020. It has gone all the way up until now. From 2020 all the way to 2023, it was a very sit back, press, counter press, kind of like a Liverpool gegenpressing kind of. If you watch Liverpool, that's how San Antonio FC used to play. That's how we were successful. We changed it. We're trying to do this tiki-taka thing. It ain't working, boys. It ain't working. So it's been a tough slog of a season. We still have some great players. We have some great pieces. It's just the chemistry hasn't been there. The play, just the results haven't been there. The biggest thing, the luck hasn't been there. So, and as we all know in sports, you can be as prepared as you want to be. Mm-hmm. That luck, and if you're a hockey fan, it's that puck luck. Puck luck is king, and we have had none of it this season. So it's been tough, especially with the successes of the past few seasons, especially during the Cena era. But here's the hoping about next year. But this year, man, it's been rough.
Well, it's just tough because it sounds like, I mean, obviously we're a brand new team and we were built from scratch, but it almost sounds like you guys are going through a similar process with, obviously you have a couple really long-term players, but it's almost like a similar kind of startup team there. It sounds
and like when you were talking about it, like I also wanted to get in, and this will parlay with Ryan's question nicely. Did you guys typically see a lot of roster turnover year to year, or you talk about that core? Was that core there for a long time together?
I'm glad you asked, because that's a very fun subject for me to talk about, because me amongst my podcast co-hosts, Rafa, Harry, we always argue. We argue all the time. We don't agree on anything, and that's what makes our show great. Is that we are the Skip Bayless to our, everybody else who co-hosts the show with Skip Bayless. He's just going to argue with you. Stephen A. Smith, everybody. But from 2016 to 2019, our head coach was Darren Powell. Darren Powell is now the head coach at Lexington in USL League One. Darren Powell, great guy. Could not have asked for a better manager, a better person to take control of the team in the beginning. The problem with that of building that team is that we never had a consistent roster. It was a lot of turnover. We had 2, maybe 3 players stay. Like I said, Mitchell Tainer is now the most capped player. Before that was Matt Cardoni. If you guys did not pay attention to USL, for all you USL stalwarts, Matt Cardoni always had the beard. He was known as the beard, giant beard, great goalkeeper, San Antonio native. He's actually the reason he retired, he's going to law school here in San Antonio.
That's cool.
But that was our most capped player, was our goalkeeper. And then we had a Colombian player named Rafa Castillo, who's a San Antonio legend. He won the championship with the Scorpions, came along with San Antonio FC and played for a few seasons. So those are really the only 2 that were really stalwarts. And then it was just turnover until 2021 happened. And we started, that was when we first had a multi-year deal. And that's when we knew, things are changing. We're starting to get this multi-year deal going. Let's see how this continues on. And so now I think we probably have 5 or 6 players on multi-year deals. But that transition, 2021, the disappointment of 2021, we lost in a penalty shootout in the semifinal to Orange County, who went on to win the whole thing. And it was just, we hit a post. We hit a post to not advance. It hurt. Basically, the entire team came back. We won the whole damn thing in 2022. Most of the team came back in 2023, and we never had it. I don't know what happened. It was one of those years where not everything went our way, and then everybody left, and now we're doing the refresh, and we're, I mean, I don't want to say San Antonio FC is like the Spurs right now, where we're accumulating those draft picks. We're trying to get
the Spurs, Ryan. I saw your face.
Yeah.
Oh no, that was actually more of a Wemby face because I love Wemby so much.
Yeah, it's unbelievable,
Yes.
Unbelievable. Yeah, we just
we're
had
we're truly watching a space alien. It's
absolutely. No, we just had our San Antonio Spurs homecoming like kickoff, and it's just for season ticket members. And Wemby showed up, and everybody just lost their face. It's like you're not supposed to be here for another month or two or another month. So that was awesome. But
Andrew wants to know how many set piece goals would Wemby score if he was on the San Antonio roster for you guys.
If Wemby's on the roster, he's a goalkeeper. What are we talking about?
Oh,
see that dude's length?
Fair.
What? No, no, but not a lot. Considering here's a big thing for USL. A lot of guys can jump very, very high in this league. So, and if Wemby can't use that reach, only way he can use a reach is a goalkeeper. So I don't think a lot, to be honest with you.
Matt Hand says Wemby would be the greatest keeper of all time.
Absolutely. No, I mean, sticky hands. Sticky hands, be incredible. It'd be like the Michael Jordan hand on the dunk. So that'd be it.
So, Royce, a segment that we do on after every episode is called RIFC and 3. Sorry, good, bad, and the ugly. I'm getting ahead of myself there. So,
honestly, it was fair. Like I have messed up the order so many times on this show that a lot of the viewers might not know because Matt's very good about rolling with the punches. You're supposed segments half the time. It's a mess. So
Brian goes off script. I would say 9 out of 10 episodes, and like
you're supposed to be professionals.
I try to look and piece it back and like try to.
It's the away hand specifically. Like,
and then I try to like leave him crumbs of where we're gonna go next based on it. And it just totally always goes awry. So I'm in Ryan mode right now. But one of the segments we do after each match is the good, bad, and the ugly. We usually do after draws and losses. And we do good, better, best after wins. But when we do it on the way end, we like to ask the good, bad, and the ugly moments from the San Antonio season so far.
Good, bad, ugly from the San Antonio season. Bad, the roster turnover. Well, I guess we got to start good, huh? I got to go in order. I can't. No, you're good. I can't pull a Ryan and just go rogue. Yeah, tough. No, the bad's been the roster turnover. That's really sucked. We've lost a lot of great dudes that people in the city loved. Jordan Farr. People still in the city love Jordan Farr. Fabian Garcia. My kid still has a jersey that he wears every week that has Fabian Garcia's signature that is not faded yet. So ask about Fabian all the time. Justin Dillon, my guy JD is now in Colorado, which is insane. Colorado Springs. He got traded from El Paso. Man, a lot of core guys leaving. It stinks, especially when you get to know them. They were on our team for 3 seasons. We really got to know them personally, hung out a lot, and now it's gone. But that's business, right? Sure. So that's kind of been the bad. The good has been seeing certain pieces I didn't think would come together has been incredible this season. Jorge Hernandez, I think, still leads the league in assists and goals created. Unbelievable player. And even before the season, we had Christian Pirano, who's now with Sacramento, one of our star child, absolute star child. Just brought him in, and he gave us a championship, and we let him go to Sacramento. It's like, what are we doing? And we get this random kid from Mexican kid that's in the Belgian leagues to come in, and he's been unbelievable, and it's been worth the price of admission every time we go to a game. He's incredible. So, and then having Juan Agudelo, big salute to big Juan Agudelo,
former New England Revolution player.
Absolutely. One of my favorite soccer memories in general is from U.S. versus Mexico in 2015 in the Alamo Dome here in San Antonio. It's a 2-0 game, a famous 2-0 game. The first goal is the very first U.S. men's national team goal scored by Jordan Morris. Second goal scored by Juan Agudelo.
Nice.
And now he's playing for San Antonio FC. So that just kind of poetic for me. My co-hosts aren't big fans of Juan Agudelo. I'm a big fan of his. He works his he is one of those players that is out there working his tail off every single second of every single game he's out there. One of the biggest hearts on the field, Juan Agudelo, one of my favorite parts of this season. And then we're going to go with the ugly moment. Man, the ugly moment may have been last week, 4-0 to Phoenix. But I would be remiss if I were to say that that was the ugly moment, because I know my co-hosts are definitely disagree with that. The ugly moment has been kind of the off the field stuff with San Antonio FC this season. And this is something to pay attention to all you supporters groups out there and everything. Stay in communication with your clubs. We've had some issues that San Antonio FC kind of sprung upon us. We now have to pay parking for tailgating. Never had to do that before, and that kind of got sprung on us. And a few other kind of surprising things that have come around our front office that they've gone back on, and we've communicated with them. They didn't allow us to have flags for the first half of the season in the stadium, which is just
bizarre.
Exactly. A bizarre choice, but they're really trying to match up the game day.
Are you talking like country flags, or even like supporter created
any flag,
flags?
any flag, any flag, anything that's not a jacket you couldn't bring in. I have this like little 9-inch megaphone thing that says Texas Lottery on it that I got as a giveaway at a San Antonio FC match. They made me take it back. That's what my kid yells in. We're talking about our 6-7-year-olds yelling. So my kid used to yell in. They made me take it back to the truck, and they don't let it in the stadium. Something I got at the stadium, they won't let me take in. So they're trying to make the game day experience, and they're trying to have the same security staff for 18. Well, now it's the Frost Bank Center where the Spurs play, and Toyota Field where San Antonio FC plays, because they're both owned by the same entity. They're trying to make those the same, security protocols. You can't have the same security protocols at an NBA game as a USL game. So there's been, we're trying to communicate with that. Like I said, take our experience and hey, watch out for this. So, and it's one of the beauties of collaboration in the league is, hey, watch out for that. So, so I guess that's the ugly moment, is kind of,
being sprung the
off the field follies of San Antonio FC.
Yeah, especially when it feels kind of like ticky-tack. It's like, sometimes a club will announce something, you're like, that makes sense for all of us. It's like a safety measure that's important, that is clearly because of something. But yeah, when you can't bring in a megaphone or a flag or something like that, especially flags, I feel like that's a great way for fans to express their support, to express their emotions.
Like we have this one behind us. It's our mascot Chip and Dylan Hartford's mascot drowning out in the distance. We brought it in the Derby. Half the team signed it. Like, that should be a part of supporter culture. No problem. Right.
Exactly. And I mean, even I'll point out New Mexico. I love what New Mexico does with their handheld flags that they'll give away in their crowd, and they'll go crazy with those at the lab. It looks great. We couldn't do that the first half of the season because they decided not to. So
you guys love pyro at all?
So yeah, I see that, Sarah. So we do have smoke in the supporters group. Other than that, no. But we are allowed smoke in the supporters group by certified smoke handlers of the supporters group. So yes, we do have that. And Toyota Field is kind of accommodates us, those that are in the supporters groups. When I go, when my family decides they don't want to go, I'll go by myself. I'll go sneak in the supporters group. I'll go have fun with those guys and gals. We do have 3 supporters groups. They're great. They're loud. They are going to move into a louder, more echoier area next season. So that'll be fun. But it is like in this open bar bunker behind the south goal in our stadium. So it's cool, but they're going to go to a corner kind of on the north side. So I think it'll be a nice transition for them. But yeah, like I said, to finish it up, pyro, smoke, that's about it. Yep.
Hey, do they put all 3 supporters groups together?
Yes,
Cool.
all three. So the first 3 or 4 seasons, they were separate.
Mhm.
We had, and before that, whenever the inception of the team, we had Mission City 118. You had the Crocketeers on one side. And then now we have a third that's kind of a gap between called 210 Alliance of the two. And 210 is obviously we're the Countdown City. That's our area code 210. And now Mission City 118 is now FTC, which stands for something that I can't think of right now. And I'm going to get blasted because Matt, our co-host,
No,
is that, it might as well be, huh? It's like family tradition culture, but familia, tradición, cultura. But FTC, and then the Crocketeers are still around. And there's no one really wears their, no one really separates in the bunkers. Just everyone's together. Everyone has the same chance. Everyone going forward for the team on game day.
That's funny. Yeah, we've talked to some other supporters on this podcast where they're like, yeah, they're all spread out in different corners there. So it's fun to see that San Antonio brings them all together there.
Absolutely. Yeah. We have 4 or 5 different drummers. They're each with their different group and they'll get together.
That's fun.
They do their chant practice all together. The only time they really separate, which is odd, is the tailgates. They each have their own individual area in the tailgate, and they have their own individual tailgate. And that's honestly just because they have different sponsors. And so whenever they have their different food that they're offering or their different beverages, they're not just together, sharing. It's, come to these separate areas, go see what the sponsors have, so you can separate, so you can see the different ones. And then when the game starts, everyone's in the same corner yelling, going forward.
All right, sponsored tailgate is definitely on my list of things for us to get figured out for next year. So
we have some great, all 3 supporters groups have some great sponsors that are all local companies in town, and man, they're great. And if anybody in Rhode Island comes out, feel free to come out under the bridge to the tailgate. Got free food, got free drinks.
I saw this question that Matt just pulled up as well from Chuck. So Chuck's going to be at the game on Saturday. He's a Rhode Island FC fan. He was asking about the pregame or postgame atmosphere and where he should be checking out going to the match.
Okay, so yeah, so for all you Rhode Island fans that are coming in, go home. No, I'm joking. No, absolutely. We welcome you. So
I would say that is probably one of my favorite things about this league. Like I don't think we've talked to a single person. Everyone's
the collaboration.
Please come to the tailgate. Like we love when people come to our tailgates. It's just been like very, very fun for all of us just to very much enjoy this league together.
Absolutely. So when you come to the tailgate, so Toyota Field, just north of Toyota Field, there's a bridge. It's 1,000. Oh my God. Thousand Oaks Bridge. Under the Thousand Oaks Bridge is where all 3 of the tailgates are. Come in and introduce yourself. You'll see the flags up. You'll hear the music. Every once in a while, they'll have a live band. I don't think it's a live band this weekend, but there will be food. There will be sausage rolls, fajitas going, tacos, everything there. There's drinks. Just come in, introduce yourself, and someone will show you where a cooler is. Someone will show you where a grill is. So just come in, introduce yourself, and we'll have a good time. But that's kind of where the tailgate is. It's just north of the stadium, just across the street under the bridge. And then for kind of the game day, to kind of get the game day atmosphere and everything, whatever gate you go in, we have a lot of food and beverage options. Burger Teca is kind of like a Tex-Mex burger fusion that's pretty good that we got going on. La Gloria is it's a taqueria that's pretty good. So you can get your tacos, you can get nachos, pretty good. And then the Spurs has their own like chicken finger trailer thing going on that's pretty good. Beer. There's a trailer that has, I don't know, like 50 taps on it. So that'll probably be that's on the east side. So it's
that's in the tailgate.
That's not in the tailgate. No. So in the tailgate, they'll have cans in the coolers. But this is in the stadium. Cool. Yeah, this is the stadium. There's a long trailer. It has like 50 taps on it.
Hell yeah.
And then you just walk up and get there. There's margaritas. You got to get a margarita from La Gloria. The margaritas from La Gloria are great. That's what I have to get my wife every time. With the tahini, you got to get the tahini on the rim. So
we're gonna need Chuck to report back and see how many margaritas or how many of the 50 different beers he tried.
Absolutely, yeah. No, it's great. A lot of food, a lot of drinks to choose from. There's not a bad seat in the house with Toyota Field. Man, I hope y'all have a good time. I hope y'all go home with a loss, but I hope y'all have a good time while you lose. So that's pretty much it.
I think everyone always says like we're friends in the parking lot at the tailgate. We're combatants in the on the field, and then we're friends after the match. Again.
It's baseball between the foul lines. I don't want to see your face, but outside, we're good.
All right, getting us back on track. One of the other segments we do on here is RIFC in 3, where we take a poll of our listeners and we have them all give a 3-word summary or a 3-word review after each match. If you had to give a 3-word review or summary of the San Antonio season so far, what would it be? And it doesn't have to be 3 standalone words. It can go together. However you want to approach it's fine.
New, gross, disappointing.
Care to elaborate a little bit?
It's just a lot of new players, a lot of new faces, a new method of play. Gross because just nothing's gone our way. Nothing has. Our number 1 keeper is hopefully he'll be available Saturday. He's got a concussion. That's been really ugly. We started out
who is your number 1 keeper? Because I was trying to figure that out before.
Right. So we have 4 keepers right now, which is
I've been trying to figure this out.
So our number 1 keeper is Pablo Cisniega. Last season he was the starter for Charlotte, I believe. And our backup is Kendall McIntosh. Kendall was the starter or backup for Portland and SKC for the last couple seasons. He was with SKC more recently before he got released. And then we have had to emergency sign Richard Sanchez, who was with Hartford and other teams.
Sounds like a real dick.
He's been fine. He's a couple clean sheets. I mean, it is what it is. Anyway, I'm not trying not to get baited by that. And then we have Brandon Gongora, who is I think he's 17 or 18, and he's an academy player. Cool. But he's had a couple minutes because of injuries. So
sure,
it's been one of those seasons where another one where we had to sign another emergency goalie. We had to have academy kid get some more emergency minutes. It's just been one of those, man. But long story short, Pablo Cisniega is the starter. We'll see if he's even available. I know Pablo had a concussion during the game. From what we've heard through reporting, Kendall McIntosh also had an upper body injury of a similar effect. Richard came in, and like I said, he's been good. He's last game wasn't good at all. Before that, he had a couple clean sheets. So that's where we're at. And then like you said, and then the disappointing part is just we know what this club is capable of, and they haven't matched any of those expectations or any of the capabilities that we know this team can achieve.
Well, you mentioned the style of play, and Andrew asked in the chat, have you guys stuck with that tiki-taka approach, without the positive results, or have you seen any kind of transformation or move away from it?
Yeah. So to get on that, and I was also trying to finish up a thought that I had. So in the first 2 or 3 matches of the season, we had a left winger from Brazil, Silva, and he was our leading goal scorer for the first. He had 2 goals through 3 games, and then he broke his collarbone, a displaced break, and he's basically gone for the season. So that's kind of how that went. And Jorge Hernandez had, through the first 3 games of the season, our left wing back had 2 goals. Jorge Hernandez had 2 goals, and they both assisted on every single one of their goals. So we're playing heavy on that left side. A lot of success. Boom, guy gets hurt. Season turns on its head. That's just kind of kind of how that's gone.
Broke my collarbone earlier this year. Same way. Terrible
Yeah.
stuff. Don't recommend
Yeah.
it to anybody.
No, absolutely. 0 out of 10, 0 stars. Would not recommend to a friend. But so that's kind of how it started. And then we tried to do the same thing. We've put different players in that left wing spot where we had this incredibly skilled Brazilian player. And nothing's really worked. We've kept at it. Just recycling possession, give it away. Midfield, it goes through the midfield, goes through our defense in the goal. It's happened countless times. We've only really seen a change. I want to say July, which is really late in the season to decide, okay, maybe we should try to go back to what we've been doing. And we've seen more of the typical Alan Marcina 3-5-2. The 3 and the 5 sit back. The 2 are free ranging to do wherever they want. Press, counter press possession, go on a quick counter and score a goal. And then the rest of the game, just sit back and accept the pressure and just play not to lose instead of playing to win. So we've seen that most of the season since July, and it's been pretty successful. We've been kind of mid-table in results, not, beginning of the season notwithstanding, but mid-table with results, kind of getting more in the playoff picture, getting there. And then for whatever reason against Phoenix, we decided to do the same crap that we've tried to do with the possession heavy, really spread ourselves thin, everyone all around the board, and we just got run through in Phoenix. So, man, I wish I had an answer for that. Like, oh yeah, we've definitely had a change, and this is what we're man.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing because like we went through a similar kind of evolution where we were almost trying to play a really modern possession based game, and it just was leading to a lot of things you just said, like a lot of sloppy goals we were giving up, kind of a dull play a lot of the time, in which it's hard for me to say that because I love the tiki-taka kind of modern style, but we did see us kind of switch to a bit more of a direct play, which I think was a bit based on like JJ Williams getting healthy, but also it just seemed to fit the team a bit better. So yeah, I mean, this league's funny. Yeah, you'll see these evolutions and see these changes throughout the season, and teams that form like Hartford right now, they're flying, and that no one saw that coming, and it's crazy.
So go with me here. So veteran of the league here, I knew exactly what Hartford was going to be. I thought they would be a lot more successful at it. So Hartford basically put all the old pieces that were Colorado Springs for the last 5 or 7 years. They've all recycled back and they've gone to Hartford. So I expected Hartford to be more of the juggernaut that Colorado Springs used to be. And Colorado Springs used to be a goalkeeper, 7 guys, and then 3 up top of just complete world-class players. So you put like a line of 4, a line of 3, let those 3 up there go. And that was forever what Haji Berry, Galena, and I'm trying to think of who there was always 1 or 2. Deshane Beckford was one of them for Colorado Springs, who's now with Hartford, who's hurt, unfortunately. Deshane's my guy. I love Deshane. And that's how it was for Colorado Springs. And they were just, they would sit back and just let those 3 do whatever the hell they wanted to do. They're complete athletes, complete game changers. And they'd go and they'd score goals all day, and they just going to do it in the playoffs. That's what I thought Hartford was going to be. But it seems like out of nowhere, they're starting to put it together up there. And so we'll see what they do. That they were kind of one of my top picks in the
not
league.
one of mine, but I appreciate that.
Fair. That's y'all's rival. I completely understand it. But it's kind of like me picking, or y'all picking El Paso to be a juggernaut, but you knew that wasn't going to happen because El Paso sucks. Everybody knows that. But I thought they'd be better, and they're really not. And you guys have surprised me with your roster build. You guys didn't go, Rhode Island, the front office didn't have starry eyes and go get 1 or 2 players to spin big on and then just kind of fill out the roster with a bunch of, whatever they could find around. It really seems like they had a good focus on how they wanted to build the roster, and they've really done a smart business doing that to try to get a good core together to see what works, and then to have the ability just to have interchangeable pieces
Mhm.
to keep that core together and to evolve the team instead of just having one or two players be your team and then just kind of go from there whenever they leave. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, which is funny because I think like there are a couple of players who we know are on those multi-year contracts here, and unfortunately, like a lot of them haven't. I don't think they've met the expectation that we had of them, but we found some real gems in some of these other players that I really hope end up staying here for multiple years after. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I know we've talked a lot. We talked about it earlier with you as well, like this kind of turnover every single year. Like
Yeah.
I'm not ready for that. Like I'm gonna be heartbroken. I feel like
Prepare yourself.
I'm very nervous.
It'll happen.
I haven't calloused myself to that yet. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Man, next season.
We got him.
So,
I think we got Royce cutting in and out a little bit. Royce, I'm going to give you 1 second just because it's the internet is getting a little bit laggy on you there. But
let me know when I'm back.
there you are. I think we got you.
All right. Sorry about that. All right.
you're
No,
good.
this will be my season as a season ticket holder. It'll be the 10th season of the team. And it happened.
Shoot.
Did it again, Royce. I'm sorry. Hopefully we get Royce back in a second. But
Matt, do you want to take Nate's question here?
Man.
What we got here? All right. So yeah, with 5 games left, how many points do we need to make the playoffs? So we'll answer that as far as a RIFC perspective. Ryan, what do you got? Because I looked at it and I think I'm a little bit less optimistic than you are.
Yeah, so I think if you're saying what do you need to make the playoffs, I think it's an interesting thing. And I said this to Kevin last night. The need side of things, it actually really depends on which of the games we get points in. So, for instance, the Loudon match is really the big one that we're the real only one we're playing someone else in our league, so or in our kind of cohort. So if we get 3 points there, that's a significantly more important 3 points than maybe getting them versus not Loudon, Charleston, or even San Antonio here. So I do think 7 is about the number that we need to get. But then after that, I would like to see something like a 9 or 10 from there.
I tend to agree with you, and I'm not going to pivot away from saying that these matches aren't must-wins. These are all must-win matches the rest of the way out. I know that people might pivot or waffle based on that, but all of these matches are really must-wins. And
I couldn't agree more. I do think, like, quite frankly, and also it looks like Royce, you are back. It looks like, but it to me the 3 that are must-win are Loudon, Miami, and Royce. Maybe block your ears. Maybe you should go. Maybe you should go Frozen again. San Antonio. But to me, that's the 3 that I think we need to get those 9 points.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, at this point of year, during the playoff push, just to get that momentum, every game is a must-win period, regardless of where you're at in the table. Because if you're top 4, like you guys are, how far are y'all for? Y'all are only 5 points out, hosting a playoff match. That's huge.
Right.
That's one of the big reasons. That's one of the big reasons we won in 2022 is we hosted every single match, and that's what was the difference. We had our atmosphere, and we controlled the tempo of the damn games. The crowd controlled it.
So I think back to that indie match all the time when we fucking threw that match to rotate.
Unfortunately, I think we've lost some stuff that.
Yeah, but I think that was kind of the start of it. Like that was 3 points that was there. That was a struggling team. Like we just needed to go and kind of step on their throat, put them out of their misery, and we didn't. So I think that's a big piece of it. Royce, kind of looking at the match now and kind of turning into looking at it. 3 players who, as our fans, a little bit newer to the league, 3 players from San Antonio that we should really kind of keep our eye on that could have a major impact on this one.
As I mentioned, Jorge Hernandez,
he's unbelievable.
He's I would be surprised if he doesn't get transferred. We've had multiple players get transferred. One of the players we like to follow is Jose Gallegos. He left the year before he won the championship, unfortunately, but he's been Danish Super League for the last 3 seasons with Suniuska. He's one of our stars. He's from Antonio. He went to high school in San Antonio, and he's playing European football on a top tier. That's one of our incredible. that we like to follow. But Jorge Hernandez is kind of our next star. We also have on loan from Chivas, Guadalajara, named Jesus Briguillo. Very skillful player. He's number 59, oddly enough. Obviously, he came in halfway through the season, has that spring training number, but
Sure.
he's incredible with his skill. We'll see what he sees the field. And number 3, Mitchell Tainer, player of all time, Mr. San Antonio. That's my guy. My guy's Mitchell Tainer, one of the best people you'll ever meet in this league, and just one of the best leaders in soccer, period, I would say.
Awesome.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
Royce, just to build on that, our guy Nate Ski, who I see in the chat here, he always wants to know who are some super subs that might be able to come on and influence the game.
So I think Brejido's probably going to be a super sub. And then later on we'll have, and that's kind of been a difficult thing, right? San Antonio FC has really hit the jackpot when it's come to forwards that we have on loan from MLS. So from the talents of Tani Oluwaseyi, who is now playing for the Canadian national team, his star has risen and it continues to rise. Samuel Adeniran, who won the championship with us in 2022, who's St. Louis. And really been lucky enough to have in this season. We've kind of, one of them got transferred halfway through the season. FC Dallas transferred Jose Mulatto to, I want to say, the Russian. We have Hugo Mbongu, who's made some appearances but just hasn't gotten on track. So we really haven't had that forward that'll just come on and really change the game by coming on with speed or anything. So it's just been kind of what happens when we have super subs is we'll have a defensive super sub to lock down the game after we've scored an early goal. So yeah.
All right, looking at kind of how this one will play out for RIFC to go to San Antonio and San Antonio to get all 3 points, what would happen? And then conversely, if San Antonio were to lose, what would have went wrong in this one for you guys?
For San Antonio FC to win, we need to score early and on the defense, period. If Rhode Island wants to win, the longer the game goes without a goal, the better chance Rhode Island is going to win the game, period. Another anomaly that a curse in 2024, and like I said, puck luck. San Antonio FC has 0 puck luck this season. The biggest thing that we've had is we have had a man advantage for, I believe, games this season. We won those one, and we have had the just pretty much every time. The very first match of the season, we were up 2-0 on Loudoun United. They went down a man, game ended in a 2-2 draw. And that's kind of how the season continued. Just, was it the past home match? The other team went down a player, and we just happened to shut down, and we won 1-0. That was the first time that we had won a game where we were up a man. And every single one of those times has been basically the entire second half. So no puck luck, 0. So if you guys go down a man, probably get. That's my advice,
Sure.
Awesome. So
go ahead, Ryan.
I was gonna say, as we round into like the finale here, I saw Matt did add your score predictions in the chat. So we have Kevin with 2-1 Rhode Island FC, Tim Sheldon with 3-1 Rhode Island FC, Andrew Quadros 1-0 Rhode Island FC. I will remind everyone this is a Rhode Island FC podcast. We got Coach Almeida with a 1-1 draw. Matt Hands of make sure you catch his pre-match beacon tomorrow, 1-0 RIFC. Justin has 2-1 RIFC. Sarah with 3-1 RIFC, and our guy Tyler 1-0 Rhode Island FC. We got William Lamb of Sacramento fame with a 2-1 Rhode Island FC. Shout out to William for always stopping by. Really, really appreciate the support. So I don't know who wants to start tonight. Usually Matt gets asked this question. I might put you on the hot seat first, Matt.
Yeah, so I went back and forth a bunch of times on this one. This was a tough one to pick. I see this one actually playing out very much like last game. I could actually see San Antonio getting an early goal and Rhode Island clawing 2 back. So I'm going to go 2-1 to the Tide. I have no faith or confidence in this pick, but I'm hoping it will pan out pretty well.
Awesome. So I can go next here. So this one's interesting. So San Antonio, they are kind of middle of the pack at home. They're 8th in the West. But they have, again, we've had a really tough run on the road. Actually, our last win on the road was July 17th for anyone who has been paying attention there.
Evan will love that stat.
Yeah, this is gonna be interesting. This is weird. We somehow keep playing the 9th and 10th place teams from both both divisions. I don't know, like the past 4 in a row, we keep doing that, and it's the same story. I keep saying that we've had a lot of trouble with. They're not big on possession. They don't score a ton, but they also don't really let up a ton. They're 5th in XG against. They're 20th in XG for. They also do a really good job just clearing their lines, and they're tough in the tackle. They're 3rd in the league in clearances per match. They're tied for 2nd in tackles. So this is going to be a very physical game, and they're going to be a tough nut to crack. The big thing here, and I think it's been alluded to, we can't gift them goals and gift them ones early. Rhode Island FC has been going down early lately. It's been a habit we've had, especially from really stupid goals. So if we can clean that up, which I hope we can, the next real big place I think is going to be in the midfield. We have to contain Hernandez, and also Lambert in there can cause just absolute chaos. I would love to see.
We have to play Clay Holstad in the midfield.
Yeah, to me this has to be a Haraval Holstad duo, and I quite frankly might have Haraval just follow Hernandez and just track him and just try to man mark him and let Clay destroy in the middle, because I think this one's going to be just an absolute physical battle in there. I could even see, I don't know if Kana wants to go this way and win the midfield completely, but even roll out Ibarra, Holstead, Haraval somehow. Another idea. But yeah, from there, I mean, we really need to use our press to create and take shots when we have them. They don't have the best keepers in the world. They've been super injured this year. So I think it's something we could take advantage of. So I'm going 2-0 RIFC. I feel terrible about that pick, but I just think we're due for not, our underlying metrics have been very good the past couple of games, even though some people might say that we haven't looked as good, but we have really been doing a good job kind of playing. Basically everything besides the mistakes has been good. So if we can cut that out, I think we can win there.
Royce, how about you? What do you got for your score prediction?
So big shout out to Dirty Hair Zachary Hale, our C player for the PAL era. Love watching that dude. Dude has lettuce like no business.
That's 2 ball guys. We're very jealous.
Sure. I mean, I'm on my way there, boys. I'm on there.
You're almost in the club.
Don't remind me. Father time, undefeated. So for my score prediction, welcome to the league, 3-0 SAFC. For no reason, we decide to dominate after
I love it.
Phoenix Rising. Everyone's pissed.
Yep.
Nobody likes each other. For some reason, we put in 3 bangers. Welcome to the league, boys.
I love it.
Definitely appreciate that. And also appreciate you just taking the time out to join us. Always love doing these and kind of learning about clubs. I know our listeners really like the history lesson you provided too, and giving us that background knowledge and everything with the club. One thing I got to ask you, you got a pretty sick Funko Pop collection back there. Which one's your favorite?
Man, that's tough. My daughter got me King George from Alexander Hamilton's. That was pretty solid, but all of my James Bond ones, I'm a big James Bond. I have most of the collection up there. You could see Saffron and James Bond as an astronaut. So, and then obviously Mark McGuire up there. I'm from Missouri, so big Cardinals fan.
Okay, yeah.
Animal the drummer. I'm a drummer, so whatever. They're all fun. They're all part of the personality. Obviously, I mean, there you go. You got Lars there. We'll take you through the whole tour real quick. You got Agadello's jersey. You got my little Bond cars. You got a Spurs basketball. Yeah, good stuff. Rita Zuhair, former midfielder, NFC on loan. So Welcome to my full abode.
That's it. That's awesome. But again, thank you for taking the time out to join us. Any final thoughts you want to share and get out before we sign off and end this one?
Man, just league, everybody. Looking forward to the future. Hopefully, I made a couple trips to go out to stadium. Last one I went to was Pittsburgh. I loved it in Pittsburgh. Would love to get out there when stadium up Rhode Island. So love to be out there, especially during the summer. We finally recently snapped our 100-degree straight days. I think we had 21 straight days of 100 degrees or more. I would love to get out of that during July or looking forward to meet. See if we make that there.
Sweet. Ryan, any final thoughts you got for us?
No, just excited to see everyone Saturday. If you can make it out to Providence Brewing, we will be going live at I think 7:45. We do start pretty promptly there so that we can be done in time for the match. If you can't make it out, we'll be streaming live on YouTube. But yeah, we always appreciate the support. We appreciate everyone coming out, and yeah, up the tide as always.
Absolutely. Appreciate all of you who tuned in and joined us for this one tonight. But that'll wrap things up. Remember, Tide Talk is more than just a podcast. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook for daily social media content. Click that link in this episode description to follow all of our accounts. I've been your host, Matt, for Ryan and Royce from the San Antonio Soccer Podcast. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you next time. And as always, up the tide.
Up the tide.